this year to master plan our department, our parks, programming, and we contracted out Hill Studios out of Roanoke, and they've gone out and done stakeholder meetings, surveys, done a lot of things, and they're just going to give you an update this evening on what they've gotten so far.
So we went to the Virginia Wine and Garlic Festival, the county fair, and the Halloween Spectacular. At that, we probably interacted with 500 plus people. So overall perception of the parks were a 2.97, so basically right in the middle. Nobody was super happy, nobody was super mad. So that's gives us a good direction to go towards. We want to make sure people are liking the parks. What are visitors doing? So we asked people what they were doing in the parks when they did visit. Walking and running was the #1 response. Spending time with family and friends was the second biggest response. And the last one was playing. Like, why are people visiting parks? To determine those motivations for people coming. Exercise was #1. Social bonding, so meeting with people, engaging in activities. Relaxation, and sporting events, specifically for Will Park. And then what do people want? So trails was our #1 ask. We got that from almost every single park that we asked about. Restrooms was another big ask. Splash pads was a big one. A lot of people wanted splash pads. Playgrounds, specifically ADA accessible playgrounds and bigger playgrounds. Public art was also an interesting one that we found, kind of interactive art. And then improved ADA at the parks, playgrounds, and also at the community centers. We looked at was Rivers Edge Park trails, overlooking this Lynchburg, public art along the kind of trail that's already existing there, a themed playground, signage, and this is kind of a, we want to make this kind of an urban river, so make sure that visitors are able to connect with the river. Again, we want to make this kind of a cultural discovery area to kind of harken back to the name Monacan Park. We want to make sure to integrate Monacan culture into the park ideally. And then potentially relocate the playground further away from the road. Again, you can kind of see here from the air, kind of tweaking a couple things to make it flow a little bit better, including trails, new amenities, and kind of linking both sides of the parks together.
And then something we had explored, and this is something that could be a longer term plan, but providing for several multi-sports fields as well as several multi-sports courts, and then possibly creating a new indoor facility that could function as a revamped community center.
Talked about the development of kind of an agriculture, hands-on learning place where people could come, bring large animals, to have vets look at them, have the kids at the high school come over, kind of have an ag kind of learning space, potentially on the property that's kind of orangey. We do want to integrate some biking, walking trails, some multi-use trails here, just because that's something the community really wants. First Pocket Park, we're kind of thinking of this as a classical town park. It has the kind of hedges around it, so it kind of gives you an intimate feel. The house there, potentially keeping that house for possibly kind of a meeting space, a venue you could rent out, potentially having things like a coffee shop or something like that in there, a small business. We want to preserve as many of the trees and shrubs that are there already to kind of give it that small feel, and kind of have your, typical park things, your benches, your sidewalks, your gazebos. We want to make sure that each of those are a destination for a particular thing. Improve facilities, so improve existing facilities to ensure the longevity, as well as the ability to grow to meet demand, particularly with your community centers. We want to improve accessibility. Some of the parks are doing that a little bit better than others, but we want to make sure that all residents are able to access the parks and the community center.
Currently, the playground is completed. The dog fence area is completed. The trail going around the park, it's about a quarter-mile to half-mile trail, is 3/4 of the way completed. We have 2 pavilions that are going in. The footers are done, and they should be completed probably first, second week of May. I'm trying to think, do we have a sidewalk and ramp going down, from the parking lot to the facility to the trail? That's gonna be the last thing we put in, which would be sometime probably middle or end of May is the current schedule. We did have the high school volunteer groups a day of caring, and they came out on Friday, the 27th, I think, of March, 24th, whatever it was. And we planted bushes and trees and mulched, so all those are in and planted. Some of the kids actually built some trash cans and benches that are gonna be going in.